Performance dashboards. Is it the new face of business intelligence? Hello everyone, I'm Shaku Atre and we are going to cover a number of units of this topic, and we are going to take you from the raw data to decisions about designing, planning, developing, implementing and using a performance dashboard. So with that, I would like to show you a number of units that we are going to cover. This is our first unit, 1A, which is an introductory unit, and in that we will be showing you how to start with the raw data and come to the end of using the performance dashboard. And as far as I know, nobody is doing that. Everybody talks about performance dashboards, what colors should be used, how it should be presented and all that, but nobody takes you from the raw data up to the end. That means really from A to Z, all the way through entire process of which is made up of multiple processes up to the end. So we will start with the raw data and we will have at the end a functioning performance dashboard. And I will be using open source software to develop the performance dashboard. And those are the two products of open source where I have screenshots of using those two products to develop performance dashboards. One is from Actuate and the other one is from Spago BI. One is the US company and the other one is an Italian company, because no matter what, open source should stand for its name, which is open globally. So I have taken these two products from two vendors which are open source, because then you can immediately download those products and try it out. So we will be going from raw data all the way to the performance dashboard. So with that then, we say the loan institution's business environment, where we will be looking at a bank, and a bank has investors which invest money in that bank, and so to say they give loan to the bank and in turn they get returns for the investment which they make with the bank, and the bank in turn gives money, loans money to the customers, and it is done in various loan centers. It's done for doing different things. People may be wanting to buy a house, they may be wanting to buy a condominium, they may be wanting to buy a new car or an old car, or they may want to have personal loan, or they may want to have loan for their business. And so those are various aspects of providing loan to the customers. So this is going to be the raw data of this bank, which will be of investors, of the loan centers, of the loan center officers, of the customers, and then finally culminating into the loan. And we will be looking at all of these aspects. And for that, we have these 10 units which we looked at. We said this will be our first unit, and we'll be going to the second unit, which will be not covered now. This is only an intro session, which will have different types of dashboards. Then we have database architecture, which is needed to develop from the raw data, the design of the database. Then what are the different measures and metrics and key performance indicators, because how do we know how our business is doing? For that, we have to have some indicators, and they have to be not only indicators, but those should be key performance indicators. Like in case of an automobile, the automobile manufacturer manufactures what? The windows, the seats, that means they use fabric for the seat, windshield wipers, screws are used. But these are indicators, but they are not necessarily performance indicators. But how many cars are sold per week of this year? That is a key performance indicator. So that is the unit number 4 with the measures, matrix, and key performance indicators. Then we will be looking at also how do we score these indicators, how do we measure them, and for that we will look at something called balance scorecard, because it's not only how much profit you are making, that is absolutely one of the key performance indicators, but also the second key performance indicator could be, are we training our employees so that we come out with better products. The third key performance indicator might be how many defects in, let's say, 1 million products that we manufacture, and that is something called for 3 Sigma, 6 Sigma measurements and so on. So that is what we will be looking at the balance scorecard. Then now this is all raw data, which is usually called what? Online transaction processing, OLTP. When we have collected the raw data, now we need to analyze the raw data, and that is our online analytical processing, which is OLAP, online analytical processing. And that's, we are not creating new data, but we are analyzing the data. That's the next level. And from that now we go into seeing, okay, so we have done that. Now we come to the top level, which is providing the data, which will be the summaries provided in the performance dashboard. That means we come from bottom, we keep on going up, and now when we looked at the summary, we may want to go down, which is what? Which is drilling down and keep on going down to the next level, second level, and the bottom level. And of course there are ways of going through all these processes, the right ways and the wrong ways, also presenting the data right ways and wrong ways. And that will be the unit 7, which will show you do's and don'ts of the performance dashboards. And now you will say, well, this is a lot of work. Of course, now you have to present it right, you have to present it correctly, but you have to also present it attractively, effectively, so that the people who are the recipients of this performance dashboard can use it well to improve the performance of our business. That is the main goal, to improve the performance of our business, depending on how we selected our key performance indicators. That means presentation is also equally important, so visual display becomes important, and that is one unit, which is bad and ugly visual displays of dashboards. And of course with that also there are some good ways of doing it, and that will be the unit 9, which is good visual displays of dashboards. And then when we have done all of this, I have a workshop case study for you to work on, which will be the unit number 10. And remember, we are covering only the unit 1A in this module. So with that now, let's move on to the next one. So this is our bank loan institution. We just looked at that. Now we see, now this is our case study. We have loan products, we have investors, we have loan centers, then we have times when loans are made. Time is another very important, so to say, quote unquote dimension, and we will be covering the dimension, what the dimension is. So that's important decision, because if somebody tells you we sold 10,000 cars in this last quarter of this year, well, you got 10,000 cars. Is it good or is it bad? Or is it okay? It's a naked number. I need to have some context. So if I could tell you we sold this year, this quarter, 10,000 cars, last year of the same quarter we sold 8,000 cars, and the year before we sold 13,000 cars. Then now we know 10,000 means something to me. Well, it is better than last year, but it's much worse than the year before. So what happened? That we went down from 13,000 to 10,000. What happened when we had only 8,000 last year? So that's the time factor, and which is called using the time series. And that is very important for us to compare our own performance with our performance the last year's quarter and the year before quarter. So that the time dimension which we'll always have, then of course we have to have customers, otherwise we don't have any business. And for that now, and then actually the loan given to our customers. So we have something which we say we have different entities, because a customer is an entity. It is a person or a place or an object or something about which we collect data, and that is an entity, and that is represented in something called a relation, and those will be the relations we will be looking at. So how did we do this now here with this loan environment? Now we have to see what is the scope of this entire venture that we are getting into, developing a performance dashboard. So we have to identify who the users are of this performance dashboard. Then we need to see what are the problems that we are going to resolve with this performance dashboard. We have to always keep that in mind, that performance dashboard is there to solve some problem of the business, or at least identify if there are any problems. Because performance dashboard does not solve the problem, it alerts you to any problem, or maybe tells you you are doing very well in certain areas. So performance dashboard is only an indicator. It is not going to improve performance. It is just going to show you how your performance is. So for that now, what are the expectation levels of the sponsor who is financing this project, and also the users who are going to use this performance dashboard? Then how much are they going to be involved in this project? Because only the IT, information technology people, cannot do this. They have to understand what the users' expectations are and what are they trying to solve as far as problem is concerned. Because you know what? Your happiness depends on your expectations. Whatever you are expecting, that's what you want to get. And if you get it, you're happy. If you don't get it, you're not going to be happy. That means your next project is going to be at risk. So we have to look at that, and also we have to look whether we can have a dialogue with our sponsors and users about the scope of this project. Because I have run many projects. I have implemented umpteen projects, and one of the biggest problems in almost every project is the scope creep. You start to do something and everybody says that's fine, let's get started, and everybody is happy. As the time goes by, the people come saying, oh, okay, you are going to give me this, but you know what, how about this also at the same time? It won't take that long, just add to it and that would be wonderful. So that is a scope creep, and it is something which many people don't realize, that that is one of the major problems of any project, scope creep. So we have to have some better understanding without, how should I say, without insulting the users or the sponsors about the scope creep. So there has to be some understanding between both parties that if the scope is going to be increased, then it's going to take longer, it's going to cost more. So how about trying to maybe add whatever new things or other things which were not agreed to in the beginning in the release number 2? Why do you have to have everything right up front? Because one thing I have experienced in all of these projects is that many times the users know what they want after they have seen what they have wanted. Okay, and that's one of the big problems of the scope creep, and this project is not an exception. So this is the